On Christmas morning, my sister shut the door in my face while I stood there with gifts for her kids. She told me to stay outside, and my mom warned me not to ruin their holiday. I smiled, walked back to my car, and started deleting my name from every bill they lived on. By nightfall, I had proof they never wanted me, just my money. I'd driven nearly an hour through falling snow to Natalie's house. My back seat was packed with bags from Target and the bookstore. I'd wrapped a dinosaur set for Tyler and silver jewelry for Madison. I could literally hear them laughing inside while I stood on the porch like a stranger. My stomach dropped so hard I felt nauseous. Natalie opened the door only a crack. Her voice was flat, almost bored. She asked what I was doing there. I lifted the bags and reminded her I'd texted last week. She didn't move. She just repeated that I wasn't welcome. Then Mom appeared behind her, arms crossed, and said they were having a nice morning and I should go home. Something in me went cold. I set the bags down, snapped a photo of them in the snow, and picked them back up. Natalie demanded to know what I was doing. I told her I was documenting. I walked down the steps with my spine straight while the door slammed behind me. I sat in my Honda with my hands shaking. Then I called Verizon. Next, I removed Natalie's line and Madison's line from my plan. Again, I tapped through every confirmation screen. Then I canceled the streaming plans linked to my card. Next, I called my insurer and took Mom's car off my policy. Again, I logged into Keith's truck loan and erased my bank info. And that's when I finally understood what I'd been paying for. I wasn't their sister. I was their budget. This wasn't sudden. It was a pattern I'd been trained to excuse. Mom's phone had lived on my plan for years because it was cheaper. Natalie's gym and yoga memberships were on my card because they were always presented as my responsibility. The Amazon Prime account they all used was under my name. I'd been covering a $400 truck payment for 18 months because Keith's business hit a rough patch. Family helps family, right up until you ask for basic respect. The text started that afternoon. First, it was confusion, like I'd made an innocent mistake. Then it turned sharp. Natalie said her phone wasn't working and demanded I fix it. Mom said I was being dramatic and humiliating them. Neither of them asked why I'd been left outside on Christmas morning. They acted like the door in my face was normal, but my boundary was unforgivable. Around dinner, Mom sent a voice note. I almost ignored it, but I hit play. It sounded muffled at first, like she recorded by accident. Then her voice came through clearly, talking to Natalie, not to me. She said she knew I'd throw a tantrum, and that keeping me away from the kids was easier than dealing with my attitude since my promotion. Natalie laughed about asking me for a loan to cover their new roof. Mom said I'd cool off by New Year's and transfer money like I always did, because, in her words, I couldn't help myself. That night, my phone lit up nonstop. By morning, I had dozens of missed calls and messages, some from random numbers I recognized as relatives. The scripts were all the same: call your mother, stop being petty, fix the accounts. Nobody wanted the truth. They wanted the old version of me who panicked and paid. A week later, Natalie showed up at my apartment building. The doorman buzzed my intercom and said she was in the lobby, insisting it was an emergency. My chest tightened with that familiar urge to rush down and smooth it over. I didn't move. I told him she wasn't approved to come up and I wasn't available. He handled it, professional and calm, while she tried to make my home a stage. After that, the tactics changed. Keith sent a card about rough patches and how the kids missed me. Natalie mailed a long explanation to my office, blaming stress and money, but she never mentioned the voice note. Mom wrote a thin apology that came with an invitation to Thanksgiving, like forgiveness was a transaction and my presence came with a billing address. Even now, some relatives insist I went too far, but they never say what I should have done instead. I kept the photo from that porch silver wrapping and snowman paper sitting in fresh snow while my family celebrated inside without me. It stayed in an album labeled proof because I knew I'd be tempted to doubt myself later. I stopped setting myself on fire to keep them warm.